Hello, Knox. Can you hear me?
Yes, how are you?
I'm good. What about yourself?
Oh, busy, very tired. I just finished building a deck. Ugh,
Building your deck?
no,
I thought.
building a deck for
Okay,
like
okay.
a patio. Yeah.
Oh man, that sounds. It
Ugh.
did sounds a lot.
Yeah, I did it. I did it in a couple hours because I knew I had to be ready by 2. So I was rushing. Hurry, hurry, hurry.
Uh,
But she liked it. She was happy with it. So
I, I
I'm
I imagine it's a small. It is just a small one, but because building a
yes,
deck in
it's
two
small.
hours, come on, man.
Yeah, it's small. I built it in 5.5. It's small.
Jeez, your building is as fast as enforced, man.
Yeah. I, I'm sensing a pattern.
Okay, let me try to alleviate some of your tiredness, if I may, if I can.
Sure. Let's get into it.
Okay, this album will be the second one through Century Media. Did you feel any sort of pressure because you were working for the follow up of Killgrid?
No, I don't think there was any much pressure on us at all. We have been working so hard since Kilgrid came out and done so much off of Kilgrid and been on incredible tours that, yeah, we felt pretty confident.
And it was interesting to read in the press release that the album is shorter, even though it has one more song as compared to Killgrid.
Yeah.
However, it packs 10 more times of energy punch or whatever. Where do you think this energy came from? Although I think you have already touched upon by saying the tours, right?
Yeah. Just, growing and getting more professional and getting better at our instruments and me doing vocals and just being more comfortable in the studio and playing live. I think it's just a natural progression and a natural maturity.
Yeah, although being an old school, I don't think being professional works with crossover in with you
Yeah,
guys having a punk background, right? You shouldn't say this stuff.
yeah. I think. Well, I mean, working with Century Media and kind of operating as a band that is. I mean, we don't have a manager, we don't have a booking agent. We do everything ourselves.
Hmm.
We make our. I run all the mail order out of my garage.
Wow, man.
Like, so if someone orders something, I have to go pack it. So that's kind of the DIY ethos behind it. And you can, there's at some point you have to become a little bit more professional about
Oh,
it
of
because,
course, of
because
course.
people, you know, want to support you and you have to do right by them.
Of
So
course.
there's kind of, and there's a lot of, there's a lot of, moving parts. So to make the engine run smoothly, you gotta grease it with some
Yeah.
professionalism.
No question about it. I mean, the tape trading days are long gone. I don't know if many people remember those.
Oh yeah, I hear about them all the time. I think I was kind of, it was still popular until, or like a thing until about, I don't know, 2003. Because I would find a bunch of random tapes and stuff growing up at like small like local record stores and stuff, and I would be like, "What is this?" And the people at the counter would just shrug. They're like, "I have no idea." And just like, "Great, I'm gonna get it."
Well, now I think some record labels do release tapes, but again, it's something that it's a good thing to
Hmm.
have and remember. So,
We dubbed our own tapes for the demo, for the Retaliation EP, and for a tour edition of those albums.
interesting.
We did cassettes for the first probably 2.5 years.
That's awesome, to be honest. So, when did you start actually working on War Remains?
I started working on it while we were in Europe, and I think everyone else, Zach, Will, and Alex write all the songs. So I think they started writing it probably right after Killgrid. I mean, they're perpetually writing and working on ideas and songs.
Hmm.
So I think these are just a collection of songs that all kind of felt that they went together.
So the type of maturity that we mentioned and the way you approach the album while in the studio, how did those things play into the actually making of War Remains?
I think we kind of went in knowing exactly what we wanted to do and how we wanted it to sound. And there was no bullshit to do. There was no fucking around. We did the drums and the rhythm guitars in one day.
Mm-hmm.
Bass was another day, and vocals took like two or three, about 2 days, and lead guitars took 2 days, and we were done. And it's okay, great, we're done. Send it to Arthur. We're out of here.
That was extremely fast, almost like the old
about
days.
A week.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was already, everything was written. You know, there's no need to sit there and think about every single little thing.
Okay.
Like we did with Kill Grid, and just don't do that again. That was a huge headache, and yeah, I think it was a way better time. Everyone was in a much better mindset.
So you think that in Kill Grid the band overthought things or overdid things?
To an extent, like, because we wanted to make such a big, debut album impact with Century that we were like really nervous, and we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to kind of outdo and catapult ourselves into this Century Media relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So we took it too seriously.
Go on.
With War Remains, it was just like, I wouldn't say it wasn't serious, but it was definitely serious, but there wasn't any pressure. Everyone had a really cool and calm head, and there was no need to sit there and, overthink every note.
So maybe my first question about if you felt any pressure should have been asked for the previous album.
Yeah, tons of pressure.
And
in retrospect, I think at the time I was just like, okay, like, I think we were all just like, yeah, this is just how it is. And you're just like, no, it's not. It doesn't have to be like that.
Well, you can say this too, that if you haven't worked the way you worked on Kill Grid, then War Remains most probably would not have been as it came out.
No, yeah, it wouldn't be like this,
right?
If we hadn't have done that. So it's kind of something. It's interesting to think about.
Of course. And you work again with Ricky and Arthur for production and mixing, respectively. So I guess you knew, as you said, you knew what you wanted, and therefore you keep the same team. Yeah,
we've got a great team. Why would I wouldn't kick them out? They're awesome at what they do. And we barely had to give Arthur any direction or like notes. I think he sent us the first mix, and there was like maybe 5 notes total. And then the second mix, I thought it was done. I was like, great, we're done. And then like from there, I think he probably mixed it one more time, just for like, I think someone had an issue with like one like guitar sound or something, or the bass or something. But it was like such a minor note that for me it was done by the second mix, and that was quick too. So it's just a really fast turnaround.
What I think one of the strongest points in War Remains is it sounds, how can I put it? Well, I will put it as I have it in mind. It sounds live. There is nothing.
Yeah, it sounds authentic to me. Yeah, it sounds live. I mean, that's how we sound live. Dark, gritty, fast. We didn't use a click track or a tempo map for the drums. We just let Alex play how he plays, and so it sounds. Yeah, it sounds. I don't know if honest is the way to describe it, but it wasn't clipped and cut together a lot. It was pretty just good takes, good to go. There's no need to go back and try and change one note, stuff like that. We're just like, fuck it, keep it, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, crossover cannot be like that. Good crossover, it's raw, it's in your face. It's exactly how it's meant to be played live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
What about the cover artwork? Once again, you had Joe Pendaño doing the cover. What input did you give him this time?
I gave him. I hadn't even started writing lyrics. I just had kind of a bunch of random notes and notebooks and on my phone and stuff. And he hit us up, I think in like November of 2021, November or December. And I sent him all my notes, and he's like, if you got any more, keep them coming. So I was like, okay. So I just kind of kept sending him quotes from books that I was reading and articles I was reading, and then I would get really drunk and get in kind of like a dark headspace, and then send him a bunch of random just word vomit, and he loved it. He was like, keep it coming. So when we went on the Decibel tour with Obituary, I hadn't heard from him, and I had stopped sending him stuff. And I think toward the end of that tour in February, he emailed me the sketch, which was really close to what the album is. And I was like, wow, that's brutal. And I took it kind of personally, because I was like, that's what he got, all that from what I sent him. Like, that's what the inside of my head looks like. That's terrifying. Like, I should go see somebody about that.
Well, maybe it's sometimes, even for simple people like myself. I mean, I listen to music and I get some sort of therapy from that. So
yeah.
I suspect that it's the same for the musicians too. You need to have a to let some things out, because if you don't, then you will get quote unquote sick.
Yeah, you'll blow a gasket. You'll
Correct.
lose your mind.
Correct.
That's why I love performing so much. I think we all do. It's just like, it's a very cathartic release to go there and give every single ounce of energy you have for 30 minutes, 45 minutes.
One of the things that I learned to appreciate in punk and then in thrash, and of course in some cases in crossover, that the lyrics are not the usual I'm throwing a bunch of words out. They have things to say, and this is greatly appreciated, at least in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So in this one, you have Mercy Killing Fields. That has to be one of the most difficult songs for you.
I took it as like, I was really hesitant when it came to recording it, because I didn't know how I was going to react.
Mm-hmm.
And it went by fine, and I felt good about it, to have that kind of relief and release to, kind of scream these emotions and thoughts at a wall.
Yeah.
Literally and figuratively, to get it out. And I think that's a huge step in the right direction.
And maybe someone reading the lyrics will feel that they are not alone, and there are people. These things, because sometimes when bad things happen to us, we feel like we are the only person in the world who is going through stuff, right?
Yeah, I've always felt like that, and I know it's not true.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you can't help but feel that way, even though you know that the feeling is false.
Of course, because it doesn't help, right? Even if you think that other people are having similar experiences, it doesn't help you. You still feel like shit.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter how. But, you kind of hit the nail on the head with, other people have experienced that. And I kind of came to that realization maybe a month or two after her passing. And I was like, you should probably write that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, it's the first song I've ever talked about myself in any capacity. So I was hesitant, and I think it turned out well. But writing about myself was difficult and new and challenging. And I think I did a pretty good job.
Yeah. What about Avarice? That was another interesting song for me. It talks about, to me, it feels like this is the core of almost all the problems this world has.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, but I didn't want to do it in kind of boilerplate way of talking about how greed is bad. I wanted to talk about the kind of the mental effects or the problems that becoming greedy, what comes with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to make it as visual as possible and use like a lot of visual cues and audible cues, like the lyrics, an endless, awful grinding sound. It's just kind of grinding through people and resources just to get more and more and more, like you're chewing, which ties into starve, because there's no chewing,
right.
Literally,
right.
Because you're starving, but that starvation comes from someone taking all your stuff, so that goes back into avarice again. And so I think lyrically they're all kind of intrinsically tied together in some capacity.
Two things. First of all, I think that in the beginning of the pandemic, people were talking about, well, it's time for everyone to look inside to become a better person. However, 2 years have passed, and I think we have become worse than we were. Especially greediness is tenfold, man.
It's worse, so much worse.
So,
oh my gosh.
So this is extremely and shockingly relevant song. That I guess it was one of the reasons why it's struck hard on me.
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed it too. It's just constantly wanting more and feeling that you deserve more.
Correct.
Or like you're owed something. You're like, the world doesn't owe you shit.
Correct.
Like, and walking around in the world thinking that you deserve all these things that aren't givens is really bad for your brain.
Mm-hmm.
It's very unhealthy.
It's bad for your brain, but it's also bad for the people around you.
Yeah, it's bad for your community and society and culture. I mean, it's ugh.
And I like the connection you made for Star, because that was also the music video that you guys released. And with the way I understood that, again, my interpretation, of course, it has to do with feeling a hunger from all this greediness around. However, it also felt to me like talking about starvation in terms of information or even for truth. Because nowadays, even though we have so many sources to get our news, it seems like we don't get the actual news. We're getting the news.
Get the actual news.
Right. We're getting something else.
Yeah. Like, what I've always noticed, especially with the news, is like the majority of the news, if it was just told truthfully and to the point, it would be really boring.
True.
It wouldn't be,
entertaining.
No one would be it wouldn't, news is just entertainment now. And you're just like, that's not your function.
Correct.
Like, your function is to tell me, like, what roads are closed, what house burned down, like, and not trying to sensationalize everything. Like, it's ridiculous. And getting everybody, up in arms and hating one another. It's mind-boggling.
True. But at the same time, we need to change that. For example, we should stop watching this type of news, or listening to this type of news, and cut the lifeline of these things.
I don't rely on it at all.
Right.
And a lot of people, like, I really don't watch television, or I don't watch a lot of movies, and I don't watch many shows at all. And people are nowadays are like, what? You don't have Netflix? You don't have Amazon? It's just like, no, like, there's nothing there for me. There's nothing. I know there's nothing there for me. Trust. Like, it's mind-numbing shit. Like, I don't need it. And if there is something great, I'll find it eventually. I don't need to see it right now.
Correct. That's another thing, right? Fear of missing out.
Patience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a lot of patience with myself. I don't need something right this second. The idea of convenience, I think, is really kind of been so commodified now that it's just so weird to me that it's like you can wait, like, like, I don't know. It's something that I've noticed again, like within the past, maybe 5 years or so. It's just like, well, if I want something and I can't get it in 15 minutes, then I'm furious.
Yeah.
Which is an absurd thing to say. 15, like, what?
And unfortunately, this has also infected, quote unquote, the music, because they think that once you put an album out, well, it's digital. I will have listening to that for maybe 1 hour, and then I'm done. Right? Mm-hmm. Move to the next one.
On to something else. Yeah, you can't sit with it and really have an opinion on it. You just garble it up, spit it out, throw then another one in your mouth.
Right. Lovely how we have progressed in our discussion. However, let's go back to the music video. Are there plans for filming another one?
Yeah, one more is coming out the day the album is released.
So you have already filmed that?
Oh yeah, we filmed it months ago.
Okay, so what was the band involvement in the making, in the concept? Let's start with Starve and then for the next one.
The director for that, Devin Davies, he is an acquaintance that we met in New York after a St. Vitus show. Mm-hmm. And I think we were looking for directors or something, and then his name popped into someone's head. It was just like, well, we could hit up that Devin guy. He does movies or music videos. And I'm like, yeah, sure, hit him up, see what he says. And he came back with this whole like digital booklet of exactly what he wanted to do and how he was going to shoot it and what he like wanted. It was just like this very professional shit. And we were like, damn, okay. Like, we thought we were just gonna, talk about it over email, but he came back with a plan. And we were like, okay, cool, sounds good. So he came down to record all the live stuff. And then he went back to New York and recorded all the narrative stuff in a church, like an abandoned church basement.
Wow! If I were unofficially to pick the next one, I will go most probably for Nations with Nations of Fear, maybe.
It's not that one.
Damn it!
Oh, you're gonna like it for sure. We put a lot of time and effort into the one that's about to come out.
Okay.
It's cool.
What are the plans for the album listening party?
That's when our beer is going to be released through the Vale Brewery. Excuse me. It's going to be here in Richmond. It'll be at their brewery. We'll be selling merch, and it'll be DJ'd by DJ Devolve, which is Bobby Eggers, who runs Vinyl Conflict, which is the punk, punk metal, hardcore, and hip hop record store in Richmond. Cool. So he'll be DJing. We'll be listening to the album a couple times through the night, and it'll be fun. I can't wait.
Absolutely. And then you will be supporting Venom Inc. in June, July on the West Coast. Do you know if there are plans to extend this to the East Coast too? No, it's not. It ends in Denver, unfortunately. But we will be hitting the East Coast twice a little bit after that. Nothing's been announced yet, but... Are you talking about during summer? Because I know, although I'm not sure if you have the chance to get into these European summer festivals for this year, though. No, we're not coming to Europe this year. Okay. So you will hit twice this coast for after summer or during summer, and then... During summer. Okay, yeah. Cool. Good to know. Anything else touring-wise for this year, especially after the album comes out? Yeah, we'll basically be touring from July until October. And then hopefully something else falls in our lap, for late fall, early winter. And then we're looking at hopefully getting 2024 squared away. Great. And hopefully we can come back to Europe. That's what I would like to do. Have you picked the songs from the new album to play live? Yeah, there's like 4 or 5. Like half the album. That's great. Knox, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it. You're welcome. Very welcome. Great tour starting in June. And hopefully we'll see you guys in Chicago. Absolutely. Oh, yeah, we'll be in Chicago. Oh, great. Thank you, man. Yep. You're very welcome. I'll talk to you later, man. Bye-bye.